All right, welcome back. All right, I'm almost done. All right, there, done. All right, JT Miller staying in Vancouver. I have not deviated at all in the entire time that all this JT Miller talk was out there because I've never heard JT Miller say he didn't want to be a Canuck. And I've seen, well, on a podcast he said, well, what I heard is, well, what this site's reporting is, well, what his agent said. Hey, did you hear? It's gossip. It's gossip, and I would hope that this, combined with Huberdeau signing in Calgary after all the gossip was, oh, he's going to go to market, he's not going to sign in Calgary. I would hope that this at least makes people pause the next time that there's a big name and there's discussions of whether or not they want out. Until that trade happens, and I've been good lately. I have not been reporting on all of this. Oh, did you hear about this? Yeah, I don't care. Even at the meetup last week, somebody asked me and said, "So what's this I hear about like Miller's agent saying they're not going to negotiate anymore?" And I said, "Just ignore it. Just ignore it. Just stay out of it. Just ignore it." Now I'm wearing my JT Miller jersey because he is re-signed in Vancouver, and I'm kind of happy because I said the whole time Miller loves playing in Vancouver. This contract says he loves playing in Vancouver. Now, I also called it yesterday, mentioned on Twitter that no matter what happens here, it's a no-win situation for Vancouver. If they traded JT Miller, people are going to say, well, they didn't get enough. Why didn't they get 5 first-round picks? They're obviously morons. If they signed Miller immediately, people would either look at the term, they would look at the money and say, that's a waste of money, that's a terrible contract, that's awful. And so when I see that, I'm like, yeah, that works. It's a no-win situation. The Vancouver Canucks, a team that were very good after Bruce Boudreau took over, a team that really seemed to gel after that. But people have really focused on the rumors of a fragmented locker room under Travis Green. They have allowed that narrative to continue to be out there. But Miller's signed. Now, one thing that this does raise a question of, so what's going to happen with Bo Horvat? I think they sign Horvat. They find a way. And it was a question that got asked to me as well at the meetup last week. And I said, sign both. I don't care how they do it. Make it work. And I think there are ways to make this work. Now, I also want to congratulate JT Miller that his wife had a baby yesterday. So this is a good week for JT Miller, right? He's got a contract that kicks in next year. So for the next 8 years, he's a Canuck. And wife had a baby. So congratulations to him. Now, his 3 years in Vancouver are really the reason why I believe he would want to re-sign and stay in Vancouver. 2019, 2020, I still want to dance. I'm not going to do it. I just this is just great because I never wavered. 69 games in 2019, 2020, 27 goals, 45 assists, 72 points. And the caution that I gave for that season was simple. This was a career year. He had, achieved more in Vancouver than he had in Tampa Bay or in New York previously. And then his totals fall back a little bit that next year. 53 games, 15 goals, 31 assists, 46 points. It's still a pretty good point per game ratio. Of course, the goals per game is a little bit more worrying, but this past season in 80 games, 32 goals, 67 assists, 99 points. I don't expect JT Miller to score 100 points this year. I don't expect him to necessarily go out there and set the world on fire. But JT Miller playing center for the Vancouver Canucks, I think, is playing the best hockey he has. Could he have got more money somewhere else? Yes. I would think that if he had hit the market $8 million a season, I think he would have eclipsed that. So if he had hit the market next summer, I think it would have been higher than that. You're going to have a bidding war. And it would have depended on the season he had in Vancouver and how it all turned out. But now we can put to bed the whole talk of trading him and all this. And again, I have stayed away from JT Miller discussions since the last video I made dedicated to him. And I even said I won't be discussing anything more until he's signed or traded. Here we are. He's signed. This jersey won't be going on sale from the Canucks store anytime soon. And we'll see whether or not he remains an assistant captain or if at some point in time something happens. You just never know what might happen with the roster. And he ends up being the team captain. JT Miller's been very outspoken. He is not shy about telling you how he really feels, which I think sometimes comes across to people as him being ornery or kind of a prickly personality. But in the end, he wanted to stay in Vancouver. And I think that's great news for Canuck fans because this is a team that at times over the last forever has had a hard time with enticing star players to stay. And so this is a good move, I think, for both Miller and for the team and, for his growing family as well. So it's a good week for JT Miller. This is a way that you round out your Friday. the drinks are on him, I would think, the next time he meets with his teammates, which will be in less than a couple of weeks. And yes, the agent wasn't going to discuss anything more with contract once we got into training camp. It's done before training camp. JT Miller doesn't have to answer questions about whether or not he wants to be a Canuck anymore. He doesn't have to answer questions about, would you accept a trade to, insert name of team here. And it's done. It's done. The Vancouver Canucks, the whole way through, said they never gave serious thought to trading him. And there were people who said, well, that's not true. And my sources say, and of course, even this week, I was reading about the Islanders were in on him. And, would the Penguins could be in on him, and who else would be in on him? And in the end, Vancouver makes it work. So kudos to the Canucks and Patrick Allvin for making it work. Kudos to the fans who are going to absolutely, in the comment section below, say this is a terrible contract. It's going to age terribly. The same thing said about Gaudreau's contract. The same thing said about Huberdeau's contract. The same thing said about every single long-term contract in the NHL. Because if you say it about all the long-term contracts, well, you're probably going to get at least one of them right. So, yeah, Miller coming off of the best season he's had in his career. I thought he played very, very well, especially under Bruce Boudreau. I thought he excelled with the coaching change. So maybe he can reach 100 points, but it's going to be tough. But either way, even if he scores 85 points, I'll be happy. But there you go. So good news for Vancouver, I think, and for Vancouver fans. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.